Chargers, and Panthers. We are 1-0 against 0-1, our first away game. Here we go.
Vikings versus Niners.
Ooh.
This is the number 2 ranked quarterback according to PFF, Sam Darnold, versus the number 1 ranked quarterback according to PFF, Brock Purdy. What do you think?
Well, not to say that PFF is skewed, but we're also going to be using PFF to make sure that we can back up why the Chargers and Vikings are going to win this week. How easy can it be? Or how tough is it going to be? But if you're with us, thank you so much. Welcome to another episode of the BuiBros Football Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Quinn Bowie, and I, of course, cheer for the LA Chargers. And across from me, my brother Brandon.
And I cheer for the Minnesota Vikings, 1-0.
1-0.
Today's episode, like we just talked about, we will be looking at, this is our weekly look ahead and matchup analysis for week 2. Chargers, Panthers, Vikings, Niners.
Yes. All right, Brandon, so let's use your little techie wand thing, and we're going to go to where we quantify all of this. Now, if you haven't seen this before, this is how we're going to go. Is we're going matchup to matchup. We're getting point or no point, and at the end of it, that really can help back up the reasoning as to why the Chargers or the Vikings are going to beat their opponent this week. So, the QB situation. We talked about it last week. I'll say it. I said it then. I'll say it again. We don't really need to talk too much. Advantage goes to the Chargers. We saw Bryce Young have potentially the worst game of his professional career, and that is a tough thing to do, especially after that rookie season. Head coach Dave Canales, the supposed QB whisperer that brought Baker Mayfield back, did not do the same in the first game against their divisional rival in the New Orleans Saints. So QB advantage going to Justin Herbert there. Next, we go to wide receivers. Now, I'm going to have to use a little bit more PFF here going on, but our wide receivers, Josh Palmer got a 67.6 PFF rating there in week 1. Quentin Johnson, 58.9. Not really the best. Curious as to why they haven't updated Ladd McConkey here. But out of them, we already talked about it before. Ladd McConkey, he's the guy that I'm most excited about. Quentin Johnson showed some promise, but...
Sorry.
Going back and forth there.
Sorry.
Showed some promise, and we're going to need to see more from Josh Palmer. We talked about it. Stat line wasn't that impressive, but when you go to his ejection, it just shows there's a little bit of growth here. We expect you to play that physical, in-your-face type football. Yes, Josh Palmer, absolutely. But when the whistle happens, game over. Let them go. The Raiders will get the penalty. They always will. Just let them do it. So our wide receivers, middle of the pack here. We then go to the Panthers corners, which you've got J.C. Horn, who was a fan target in one of the drafts a couple years ago, who has a 54 PFF rating, and then you've got Mike Jackson. I don't know Mike Jackson. He's got a defensive grade of 77, so better than J.C. Horn, but I don't know Mike Jackson, so he's a bum. So really, you've got a bunch of average wide receivers with a potential rising star in Ladd McConkey against Mike Jackson and hurt all the time J.C. Horn. This is another advantage to the Chargers in a group that everybody had their qualms with at the beginning of the season. So 2-0, here we go, running back against their linebacking group. My goodness, running back against their linebacker group. They have Shaq Thompson, right? They have Shaq Thompson. Do I see? Oh, they still have Shaq Thompson. They have Brian Burns, right? No, they don't have Brian Burns. They traded him for nothing. For nothing compared to the type of player that he's got. So we've got Shaq Thompson here. Great player. Great player. PFF doesn't show it here. 65.3 defensive grade. But we know the impact that he has. Opposite him, you've got Josie Jewell. Again, no idea who the heck he is. So bum. So you've got kind of 1-1 in the linebacking group there against Gus Edwards, who we saw last week. You know, he's going to take some time, but he's never that guy who's getting a tremendous amount of yards. He's going to punch it in. He's going to make his presence known in the short yardage situations. But then you've also got J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins season resurgence, maybe healthy. Wow, knock on wood. So kind of also a situation of 1-on-1. But I'm going to have to tie break with the coaching decision. I'm going to have to call it right now. I know we're looking here, but in order to really give an accurate picture, we've got the running game of Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman against the linebacker group of whoever their DC is and the Carolina Panthers. All right. This is another advantage to the Chargers and a disadvantage to the Panthers. Now I know some people may say, come on, you got to be objective in this. You can't be a homer pick. This is not okay. We also have to think in this situation who we're playing. We're playing the worst team in the league. And I get that it's any given Sunday. But it is not the Chargers of old. It is not the Staley era. Anybody else before that, it is Jim Harbaugh. It is Jim Harbaugh, and he is not going to let these players, as I've mentioned before, play down to their opponent. He's going to go in there. He's going to throttle them. Easy 30-point plus game. And that's going to be a huge part coming from the running backs. Now, we get to the tight ends against their safeties. Now, our tight ends did not have the best game in week 1. Hayden Hurst looks like the receiving option. Will Dissly's in there. A lot of the run plays, helping with the blocking. Hayden Hurst had one big catch, which was nice, but we need a little bit more from the tight end group. Yes, when we signed both of them in free agency, we all knew they're not flashy names. They're not necessarily household names, and that may be for a reason, but they have their uses. They are solid pieces. And this is kind of the way the roster is structured. It's a bunch of people who can do the job at a serviceable level consistently. It is every week in and out doing the job consistently. So we've got those two helming the tight end group against their safeties. Okay. Do you want to start with the good news or the bad news for the Panthers?
Give me the good news.
Good news. Good news. Xavier Woods is one of their safeties, defensive grade of 80.3. This guy makes his presence known. I forget, where was he before? He was not with you. If he was not with you, I believe he was with the Cowboys. Xavier Woods.
Xavier Rhodes we had years
right.
ago.
Maybe I'm getting that confused. So overall 71.5, but his defensive grade 80.3. Why is that a difference? There, going there. I'm going with the 80.3. And then opposite him, Jordan Fuller. Jordan Fuller, 66.7, but it's also showing here at 28. Oh, 28, excuse me, is updated for 2024. He is 74th out of 74 safeties being graded. So that is interesting. Not that we have the tight ends to exploit that matchup, but there may be a little more passes being funneled towards that group for sure. In this case, we're not doing any pushes. So I got to go advantage to the Chargers because, of course, coaching comes to play here, and nothing else said. All right. We go next. Offensive line. We talked about them last week. We got bookends now. All right. We got bookends. We got Rashawn Slater, clean record.
Wait, before you continue, should we just like 10-0, you guys? Should we just
Brandon,
end it
gotta
and go
look
10
at
and
this.
0
We
or
gotta
what?
look at this objectively, position group against position group. How am I supposed to know? I can't tell the future. I didn't go through this beforehand. This was not my plan to be undefeated, to like dominate the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
O-line, okay? O-line. Listen, we got Joe Alt. Joe Alt, he got a 60.8 rating, which is wild. They haven't really broken it up yet, but in 2024, he's ranked 50th out of 67, which is absolute nonsense. We know he let up one pressure. We know he absolutely crushed his welcome to the NFL moment and took care of his son, Max Crosby, in his debut. 11 pass rush snaps against him one-on-one and 0 pressures. Absolutely incredible. Joe Alt looks like the real deal. And the Chargers fans are starting to like that pick a lot more. It's nice. And then you get to the center. Well, we got Trey Pipkins, who did a pretty decent job over there, right guard. But his PFF ranking, 55.4, 55th out of 67 there. Our center, Bradley Bozeman, not much better. He's 31st out of 32 when it comes to centers. And then Zion Johnson as well, 59th out of 67. So the interior needs some work. But again, not all these guys have been playing together. Zion Johnson and Slater need to get their act together, and then that middle three need to really gel. But we look against their defensive line. Now, highlighted by Jadeveon Clowney, former number one overall pick. Cool. 69.5 grade. Now, okay, he's done well in spurts, let's say. And maybe that's all he's going to be used for. He is still a household name. He can show presence. Not really somebody that's going to be making a lot of noise consistently. You got Ashawn Robinson as interior defensive lineman. So far, he's 73 PFF grade, 16th out of 110 interior defensive linemen used. So he's up there. Then you've got the other edge, because I'm going to wait till the other piece. There's somebody bad coming up. Another edge, Iku Leota, in 2024. He's ranked 48th out of 103 from edges. You've got this guy who has a nice name, Shy Tuttle. Shy Tuttle.
Nice.
29.5. He is 87th out of 110. He's 87th out of 110 with a 29.5. How many other bad defensive interior linemen? That is absolutely nuts from players who actually got to play in week 1. Now, our offensive line needs work. Did they show promise, especially in the second half last week? Yes. Do we have the coaching to make sure that this team progresses, this offensive line progresses? You're darn right we do. Advantage Chargers, disadvantage to the Panthers. Now we switch to defense. Y'all think we're homers? Y'all think I'm a homer? Let me know in the comments. But if you're here with us, I appreciate it so much, Brandon. I'm sure you do as well. Please subscribe to the channel. You love Chargers, you love Vikings, football, each and every week. That's what we're here for. Like the video and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything else. It really does help us out. But let's get back to the defense. Chargers defense had a game last week. Only 10 points allowed to the Raiders. Divisional matchup. Big. Now, cornerback group against their wide receiver group. Okay? Their wide receivers include Deontay Johnson, who I was a little enamored by him in terms of fantasy football. This guy is like a PPR machine when he was in Pittsburgh. Now he goes to Carolina. They only have aging Adam Thielen. They have rookie Xavier Legette, who looks promising. He looks promising, but this guy was supposed to be the guy. Preseason, you see him out there with the ones. He's playing everything, and he's catching balls. But he really no-showed in week 1, and I don't know. They're going to have to throw the ball a lot in this game, just like last week. But Deontay Johnson, 64 PFF grade. You've got Adam Thielen, 66.6 out of the slot. He likes to play there. That's where he's comfortable. I think it's a great fit for him. Him and Bryce Young, that's probably the strongest connection. Would you agree on that team?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I get that they had 1 year together before, but then you look at Jonathan Mingo. You know, he's the 3 according to PFF right here. He's maybe that's 103. 103rd out of 107. They just don't have enough space for that extra digit. It's he's so bad. So they're going against Asante Samuel Jr. We got a 73.9. 73.9. All right. 28 out of 127 cornerbacks. And then we've got Christian Fulton. You know, last year, not that good, but he was playing for the Tennessee Titans. This year he's got Jesse Minter leading the way and a good surrounding support system on the defense to help him out. 66.4 so far in 2024, 37th out of 94. He's doing well in this system. And then we've got our slot corner here, Jasir Taylor as well, 72.1 in 2024. Our corners are looking good. For where they were, that question mark in the offseason, and fans thinking we need to draft corners, which is something that we do need to address. But we have the coaching staff to help them, and I know it's a broken record, I really do, but I just cannot right now find any sort of clear advantage, even with PFF leading the way. The Chargers, they outmatch the Carolina Panthers. They really do. Our linebacking group, Deion Henley and Denzel Perryman. We know Denzel Perryman is a tackling machine. And, you know, middling grade, 45th out of 74 with a 56.7. Yeah, not the best, but he's there. He's good in the run game. He makes the tackles. Deion Henley, 59 so far in 2024, so he's 38th out of 74, right smack dab in the middle. Our linebacking group going against the running back group. Well, I thought Chuba Hubbard was their starting running back. Not necessarily the case, because he split the time with Miles Sanders there. 58.3 for Chuba Hubbard. Not very good at all. This is honestly where I would like to push. But our linebacking group and the veteran-led Denzel Perryman, also coached by Navarro Boroman. And yes, I'm putting you to sleep. We almost might need to put this. I'm looking down the list here at 10-0 right now. I'm really looking. This one was like the questionable one, but I just can't do it, Brandon. And for the sake of everybody here, this is just going to be that type of matchup. Of course, we've got Derwin James and Alohi Gilman going against whoever the hell their tight end group was. Tommy Trumbull's the only one that I know of off the top of my head. He was injured last week. Not cheering for that. But the rest of their group, nobody knows. Nobody absolutely knows. So, of course, advantage for Derwin James and Alohi Gilman. That's absolutely the case. Our D-line, did we talk like Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa healthy together? Finally, Tuli Tuipulotu. We've got Poona Ford who got an interception last week. Bud Dupree. It's absolutely bonkers. Of course, advantage goes to our D-line. Oh my God, kicker. Do you like my Cameron Dicker is my fantasy football name. And yes, he gets the advantage as well. You called it.
Who's the Panthers kicker?
I want to say Eddie. That's his first name anyway. I don't even know. Bum, obviously.
Obviously a bum.
Yeah, obviously a bummer. Eddie Pinheiro.
Oh, yeah, actually.
Bum.
Ooh, I was gonna say not really a bum, but
No. He's a bum because he's not getting all the stats. He doesn't get the opportunities. The offense sucks. They can't score points. That's why, unfortunately. Maybe on another team. Maybe on another team. But there we have it. 10-0. I don't think this is ever going to happen again. It's only because it's the Carolina Panthers. They're garbage. They garbage. Score prediction. Last week, I wasn't too far off. I said 24-13. Ended up in 22-10. Let's see if we can get a little closer this week. But it's really not. We are going to have 30-6 as the final score for the LA Chargers against the Carolina Panthers. That is it. 30-6. Incredible. 2-0, baby. 2-0.
2-0.
I can't believe it. I'm excited.